Hi, it's Dr. Sara Gottfried. I'm here to talk for a few minutes about PMS and some of the strategies that you can use to safely and effectively change up your PMS. Premenstrual syndrome. This is one of those places where you really want to see a female gynecologist. There's nothing like seeing a female doctor who shares your pain, who knows what you're talking about when you say, I am so overwhelmed before my period. I say nasty, mean things to my partner. I feel stress beyond my capacity, and I'm irritable. Not just moody irritable, but I actually feel physically irritable, prickly. There's nothing like having someone who really understands that, has experienced it themselves. So this is where you want to see a female gynecologist. But the problem is conventional gynecologists often offer two solutions: birth control pill or an antidepressant. And I don't think you need an antidepressant if you're not depressed. I don't recommend an antidepressant for PMS. I recommend understanding your root cause and guiding your solution based on your root cause. One of the root causes I see a lot of is high cortisol. I talk about this a lot. Cortisol is sort of the hormone of the month. I'm doing a hormone of the month club. So cortisol, when it's high, one of the things that you feel is tired but wired, hard to soothe, moody, dramatic mood swings. You don't wake up feeling restored in the morning. And what happens premenstrually is that the high cortisol blocks the progesterone receptor, so you don't get that beautiful relief of progesterone the second half of your cycle. Instead, you just feel prickly, angry, raging, and it's not pretty. It's not a good thing. We want to turn that around. So one of the things you can do is yin yoga. I'm a big fan of yin yoga. It modulates your cortisol level. What could be better than that? So if your cortisol's high, it's going to lower it. It's proven. This is not just me going all Shiva Ray on you. This is actually hard science. So we know that yoga reduces cortisol levels when they're high. So why do this? Well, there's a lot of different strategies for dealing with PMS. I mentioned that I'm not a fan of birth control pills or antidepressants, but there are many other things that you can do to raise your serotonin, to improve your progesterone, such as taking the botanical chaste tree Vitex. But one of the things I really like to emphasize is that you should use natural solutions. No more of this madness of taking synthetic hormones like in birth control pills or in taking antidepressants where there's weight gain, probably an increased risk of breast cancer and ovarian cancer associated with them, stroke. Those are not good things. We don't need to add that to the PMS mix. There are other solutions that are much better, and we're going to be talking about it in an upcoming webinar on June 23rd, noon. Go to saragottfriedmd.com to learn more about it. But in the meantime, I just wanted to give you one of my favorite Yin Yoga poses that I use for PMS. I've had PMS myself until I fixed it using my evidence-based integration. As many of you know, and I'm an organic gynecologist and hormone whisperer, and I'm also a yoga teacher. So they all go together. Let me show you a yoga pose. How do you like my low-budget yoga videos? All right, so I'm going to teach you square pose. You may have done this before. In Hatha Yoga, it's called double pigeon. Pigeon's one of my favorite poses. I'm still a little tight because I just got home from work. But the idea is that I've got my left leg on bottom, I've got my right leg on top, and I'm stacking my shins. So they're stacked on top of each other. It's called square pose because you're squaring your hips. You can see my right leg comes up a little bit because I'm tight in my right hip. You can put a little pillow there just to make life a little easier. That's the great thing about yoga and props, is you can make life easier. Or if your knee is way high, like it is on my husband, you can actually put this leg in front, crisscross applesauce. Can you tell I have kids? So pick your location for your shin. Lengthen through that gorgeous spine of yours. Come forward onto those stacked fists that I always talk about. Bring those in front. And focus on your breath. Inhale for a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 5. Inhale. Exhale. And deeply let go. So the idea here is to hold it for 2 to 5 minutes and switch legs. Left leg on top. Stacking chins or crisscross applesauce. You decide. Choose your appropriate edge. Come forward onto stacked fists. And the idea here with your 2 to 5 minute hold is to really dive into the breath. So the idea is that you're activating your parasympathetic tone by focusing on your breath, especially with the lengthening of your exhale. So why is this important? Well, here's a little more science. So we know that when you are stressed, women, when they go to work, we are stressed. You make a lot of cortisol. Cortisol is the objective measure of how much stress you're under. And you hang out in this place of high sympathetic tone. Fight, flight, collapse. For working moms, emphasis on the collapse. We don't hang out enough in the rest and digest place, which is your parasympathetic tone. Sympathetic tone needs to be balanced with parasympathetic tone. And this pose, square pose, helps you rev up your parasympathetic tone, rest and digest. We need that with PMS. We need rest and digest. So you can modulate your cortisol levels by doing yoga and meditation, focusing on the breath, all really good for you. Learn other strategies, other more targeted strategies. What are the botanicals I can take for PMS? What's proven? If I take Chaste Tree Vitex, can I just take what I can find at Whole Foods, or do I need to get a specific formulation? Short answer is there's a study from Stanford, a really good randomized controlled trial, the best quality evidence that you can get, and that is the formulation that I most recommend. So you will learn more Secrets of the Harvard Gynecologist by joining our webinar on June 23rd, noon Pacific Standard Time. Hope to see you there. Sara Gottfried, MD.com. Nice hanging out with you. Get your square pose on.